One of the more important figures in recent American history is a guy you probably never heard of, Jude Wanniski. This is his story. After President Richard Nixon resigned in disgrace in 1974, a demoralized Republican Party was in complete disarray. Nixon's replacement, Gerald Ford, lost the presidency to a virtually unknown peanut farmer from Georgia, and many pundits were predicting the GOP would soon go the way of the Whigs. That's when Wanniski, a Republican strategist, published his Two Santas strategy in the Wall Street Journal. Wanniski stated that the Democratic Party had been seen by the electorate as the Santa Claus Party since the 1930s because of all the social programs provided by Roosevelt's New Deal legislation, things like Social Security, the 40-hour work week, and unemployment insurance. The Democrats also invested heavily in infrastructure, providing things like rural electrification, roads, and schools, and all were built with union wages, which forced businesses to raise wages for even non-union workers because business now had to compete for labor. Wanniski's illustration was off a bit right at the start. In fact, the Democrats were the Robin Hood Party, taking from the rich with high tax rates up to 90% in some cases, and redistributing the money to the working class through better wages and social programs. The empowered workers spent these wages and spurred the economy, buying things they wanted and needed. With a tax structure like that, rich people couldn't just sit on their wealth. They were forced to invest it in new industries and products, which the working class bought, further stimulating the economy. In essence, everybody won under this system. All this made the Democrats hard to beat. Wanniski ordered the Republican Party could also be a Santa by offering tax cuts. That would benefit the working class a little, but it would benefit the rich people and corporations a lot. In order to sell it, he had to basically invent a whole new economic theory supplied by compliant economists like Alan Greenspan. Called supply side, it argued demand, supplied by working class spending, didn't spur the economy. It was supply, the presence of products and services people wanted to buy, that created economic activity. Wanniski maintained that by cutting taxes on rich people, they would take that money and build new factories to produce more products, and this expanded economic activity would eventually trickle down to everyone else. Economist Arthur Laffer chimed in with his bogus Laffer curve illustration that falsely claimed revenue would increase as tax rates fell. Both supply-side economics and the Laffer curve have been proven to be total fabrications, of course, but a compliant media never told us that at the time. The Republicans found the perfect shill in Ronald Reagan, who wasn't a very good actor but was a great pitchman. Using the skills he'd developed as a spokesman for General Electric, he sold both fictions to the American people. The big problem, of course, was when you cut taxes, you reduce revenue. The government doesn't take in enough money, and they can't pay the bills. To combat that, the Republicans gave the economy a sugar high by borrowing money and spending like drunken sailors in an area that is sacrosanct for most Americans, the defense industry. No politician on either side of the aisle is stupid enough to argue against it. So Reagan and his successor, George H.W. Bush, spent and borrowed, taking the national debt from under $1 trillion in 1980 to over $3 trillion over the next 12 years, more than all previous presidents combined. This house of cards began to collapse during Bush's only term, causing him to lose re-election but forcing his Democratic successor, Bill Clinton, to both cut social programs, ending welfare as we know it, and raise taxes to keep the country going, which was, of course, Wanniski's plan all along. After Clinton, George W. Bush cut taxes on the rich still further and again invested heavily in defense while starting 2 bogus wars to justify it and driving the country into a serious recession by allowing his Wall Street cronies to indulge in risky speculation and outright fraud, which also required massive government spending by Barack Obama to rectify the situation. By the time a criminal idiot Donald Trump was elected, the pattern was firmly established, and the blow-baiting huckster outdid even Reagan and the Bushes, adding nearly $3 trillion in debt all by himself. During all this time, the Republicans gleefully raised the debt ceiling whenever they were in the driver's seat, then screamed for austerity when the Democrats took over, demanding cuts to social programs and still more tax cuts for the wealthy and corporations. That's where we are today. By far the largest share of debt the country faces is Republican in origin. They spent the money, but now they're demanding deep cuts in veterans' benefits and other social programs and refusing to raise taxes on the rich even a penny. And they're threatening to trash the economy if they don't get what they want. The Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, keeps saying the economy's like a credit card and we can't keep raising the debt limit and not paying down the balance. He fails to mention it was his party who ran up all that debt, and all we have to do is roll back some of those Republican tax breaks for the wealthy to make everything honky-dory. Both the debt limit and taxes on the rich and corporations need to be raised immediately. That's the only solution. Anybody who says differently is simply lying to you.